Morning ladies and gents, welcome back to another video. What we are doing today is doing how to put a Mini Cooper Cat or Decat in, it works either way, back in or changing it out from your 2015 Mini Cooper S. This will work on all variants such as with anything with B48 engine, so this will work on a Cooper S, John Cooper Works, and I'm pretty sure it might work on a B38. There'll be some similarities, but obviously it won't be exactly the same. So the first thing, it takes you roughly around 3 to 4 hours to do. It's all time consuming because there's a lot of plastic trim on all the parts, and it's just, that's the time consuming bit. Getting the cat in and out literally takes about 20 minutes when you get to it. That's the hard part. Things you'll need is various Torx bits and bobs, but the one thing that you must have is a 22mm O2 sensor socket. And you 100% need that because to get these out, they're in a tight place, the O2 sensors, and trust me, they are in tight from factory. So the first job, what you want to do is on your windscreen wipers, you want to pop the caps off, pop a bit of WD-40 in there, let that settle for 5 to 10 minutes. Mark up your windscreen wipers with a bit of masking tape, because what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take these off and you want to put them back into the factory position, so that's why you do a bit of masking tape. So from that point onwards, you can take this seal off here, this engine cover off here by simply just giving it a pop up, and then you can start getting to work on taking these factory parts off here, plastic parts off here. So there's stuff like this around 10mm, all these little bits, and these just literally pop up and out of place. So you can take this one off and this one off, but then this one here is held back by the windscreen wipers, so that's why it's important to get them off. So now we've popped off the windscreen wipers. This is also, like what I was saying, why you want the tape on, so you know exactly where to go. Then there'll be 2 of these stupid whatever bits they are. And then once that's done, you can literally just pull it up. You want to be careful with your windscreen on this though, because obviously it's a little lip that that goes into your windscreen. So it's simple as pop that up. So now all that trims off, what you want to do is there's 3 bolts. There's 1, 2, and then the third one's all just there. These are a T30. When you unscrew these you obviously need to get an extension. When you unscrew it, it'll feel like it clicking. There's a like a spring retainer washer sort of thing behind it. So these will come out to a point and then they won't come any further. So this stops you dropping them down the back of the engine when you obviously reinstall it and stuff like that. So it's quite a good, well thought design. Also, what you need to do is you need to pop this little bit of trim off. So there's a bolt here, that bolt there, and then this little plastic thing, you just pull it up simply. Like I can do mine by hand now because I've done this so many times. So simple as that. And then that one you do exactly the same. So now we've popped this trim out, you can see there's some riv nuts in there that keep obviously that side. What you want to do is, you want to get this intake, well pre-turbo intake pipe off. So you want to undo the bolt here on this Jubilee clip. You want to undo this pipe here, simply it's like a plug and play. Right, now I've got the flash on, there's a little plug. So there's one plug that clips onto it, which is held on by that. And then there's a plug on the underside, it's tiny. I still can't even show you. And anyway, that plugs onto the intake. I think it gives like a temperature reading. And then obviously there's that clip there. You just get a flathead screwdriver and pop it off and then pull this up. So I also forgot to mention, this breather pipe attaches to that intake, and this little is the little plug that sits about there. So what you want to do is get a little sort of electrician screwdriver and you push. So with these clips on minis, what you do is you need to push this so it sits, I don't think I'll be able to do it. So it sits inside, just like that one, sorry. And then to get it off, remove it, you push the clip outwards, like that, and then that makes it free to release. So now you're at this stage, this is pretty much where you're accessing the cat now. So you need your 22mm O2 sensor socket. There's one here and one down there. You can just remove the fairy stuff to access to it. My advice is with this is remove these clips here. They are colour coordinated, so you can't put them in the wrong place. But with them, I'd say put the one that goes to the driver's side to like one side of the car, and then the other one goes to the other side of the car, so you can't mess it up. So once you've done that, there's loads of these externals torque sockets. So I think there's about 8 in total that we need to get off. There's 3 down the bottom, there's 1 here, 1 there, there's 1 down there, and then this part here where it attaches to, it's a sliding mechanism. So now you've got the heat shield out. This is, I wouldn't say the easy bit because it can still be a pain. There is 2, I believe it's 13mm, so down here you've got to feel for them. So if you feel off the Decat or the Cat, there's like a hanger that'll go to the engine block. So there's 2, 13 I think the mils there. And then there is 1 downpipe V-band bolt here. And that's it to remove the cap from this side of the car. Right, you're gonna have to excuse the lighting on this or the filming. So on a standard car, you're gonna have this 15mm nut and hanger. So what this is gonna do is, this is gonna hold both pipes together. But since we are taking off the Decat as well, I can't even get this in. We have got, oh great. Anyway, we've got 13mm just further down there. You can just see the top of it here, the bottom of the screen. So undo both of these, give them a good tap with a hammer so they loosen off and come sliding. And then that's that, and then we can take it off and slide the Decat out the top. So now we have got the Cat out. You've got to be careful with this oil cooler line. It is flexible, you do get a bit of bit of movement in it because it's got a flexi hose there. So that's not to worry. This is what the MILLTEK looks like, the MILLTEK Decat looks like. So you get a fair bit of adjustment on them. That's obviously there to cancel out the O2 light, so you don't need to get it mapped straight away. There's the pre-one, and then here is the adapter plate. So on, yeah, this side obviously goes that side to MILLTEK, and then this part here goes to the standard one. As you can see, it's just ever so slightly thicker, but obviously it works. But it is tight to get in and out because you don't get a lot of flexibility on here. Look, it's literally, you don't get a lot. So now time to go and get the standard Cat. So that's the comparison between them two. That's obviously got the Cat in it, which is massive, so this is a lot heavier, but it's easier to install because look at the amount of flex you've got. And then obviously this piece here represents that extra part, so that's how it sits, is roughly like that. So that gives it the extra length since it's got the shorter flexi hose. So yeah, that's the two together. So it's simple again as dropping it in, lining it all up, and putting the V-band clamp on. We need to make sure this gasket here is intact, so that's the standard gasket. That's the standard gasket as well, but I bought an extra one for obviously doing the Decat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it in, get it on the hanger first, trying to line this part up, and obviously then get the V-band clamp on. So now we've put the standard Cat back in, all we've got to do is tighten up this V-band clamp properly. It's nice and seated. Tighten up the 213mm down there. We've guided it down there into itself. You can't see it from up here. So all we've got to do now is tighten it all down, get it nice and seated correctly, and tighten it down, and put the heat shield back on. So now we've got the Cat back in. We are fully tightened up everywhere, fully done up at the bottom. All looks nice. So now we're just going to pop the heat shield back on using my new light up here. Look, LED strip that magnetizes. So I'm going to pop the heat shield back on and get the O2 sensors back in. So now I've got the O2 sensors back on, led up properly into their respective plugs, mounted the plugs properly. Now it's time to put the pre-turbocharged pipe on, and you see that there, that's where that tiny little sensor clips in. So you want to clip that in first, push it down onto the spring, onto its seat, and then just put it all back together. So I've mounted the little clip here, that's on nice and tight. Put the little plug back in, that's in its hole. Did the Torx up, put that on, tighten that up. So that's that pre-turbo charge piping done. So now what you need to do is, oh yeah, also I advise when you lay all your stuff out, lay it sort of how it roughly looks on the car. So now it's time to put this one back on, and as I was saying earlier, they're them little sort of washers that stop them from coming out. They're very handy them. So now it's as simple as slipping that down the back and putting it all back together again. So before I put this cover back on here, I've just noticed every sensor is all attached and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the car up, make sure the exhaust isn't leaking anywhere, and then what I'm going to do is make sure there's no rattles, no weird noises or anything. Then I'm going to put the remainder of all the plastics on. These are as simple as the way they came off. Right, so that's it guys. What I'm going to do is now, there's no point in showing you how to put every part back on. It's exactly the same as taking it off. So it's absolutely fantastic. Can't believe how lovely and toned the car sounds again. I will miss it being decatted. So we're going to get it in for its map again. So it's only getting an alteration, so it'll be roughly around 280 horsepower instead of 300. So it just takes that top end off. Torque will still be the same. So yeah, I'm massively happy with it. Sounds beautiful again, the way it should have been. Decatting it was fun, obviously good pops and bangs and stuff, but yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? So remember, please like, comment and subscribe. Feel free to share with your family and friends. Thanks again for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now.